All right, so if you clicked on this video, then chances are you think the idea of putting BRAW on the X-H2 is a good idea. Or if you don't think it's a good idea, then chances are you think it's an idea that you could possibly benefit from. Either way, I think this is definitely something we should be making some noise about because Fuji tends to listen to their customers, and I think this is something that we should definitely get their attention with because putting BRAW on the X-H2 could just set it off to a whole another level. Denver, Colorado. Guys, you know it's pretty bad when they actually name a snowstorm. They don't usually do that too often, but it's pretty crazy out there. Alright, so I put out a video a little while ago talking about the X-H2, and shortly after there was a rumor that was talking about it not coming out until possibly 2022. And although that was depressing to hear, I think it could possibly be a positive for the X-H2 because it gives them a lot more time to work on this camera and iron out all the kinks and basically give us the camera of our dreams. And I think one of those things that they can give us in this camera is Blackmagic RAW. So where did this idea come from? This is something I had thought about like when I first got into the Fuji system, when I was getting into video and everything, and right when the Pocket 4K first came out, everyone was raving on that camera with how good the image quality is on that camera, especially when they updated it with BRAW. And I always thought like, oh, if they added it in a firmware update, maybe this is something that Fuji could add to their cameras, later down the line. And I kind of ended up just forgetting about it. I figured it would never be a thing. Turns out, kind of actually ended up becoming a thing for Nikon. Now, if you haven't heard, there was an article talking about how Nikon was going to be putting out an update to their Z cameras and adding BRAW to those cameras. And I'm not sure the logistics of it or the partnership or anything like that, but I'm hoping that partnership isn't exclusively for Nikon. And if it's not, then it would be something that I would hope and pray that Fuji could possibly do for their cameras, at least specifically for the X-H2. So for me, one of the kind of like the perfect setups would be having like a two-body system, one specifically for photo and one specifically for video. So like say for the Sony cameras, for example, you could be rocking an A7R4 for the photo side and rocking like an FX6 or like an FX3 that just came out, and that could be your video camera. And the best part about having this like two-body system is that you get to share the lenses between these two bodies. And like that to me is like the perfect setup. It's not something that you would have to buy new lenses for your video camera. You could just hot swap these lenses in between your bodies and it all works. And being on the Fuji system, we don't really have anything like that. Now, when the X-H1 first came out, it was set to be the video camera for Fuji. And then, of course, the X-T3 came out shortly after and then kind of just took the spotlight and everyone kind of forgot about the X-H1. So if it's going to come out in 2021, they have that time to, again, like work out all the kinks and improve this camera to give us that perfect camera and kind of have like an A7S3 moment where it took them so long to put out that camera, but everyone was beyond happy with the results. And that's something Fuji could do with this camera, and I think it would be insane if one of those things they add to this camera is Blackmagic RAW. Specifically for me, I actually edit in DaVinci Resolve, so something like ProRes RAW doesn't really necessarily appeal to me. So adding something like this to these cameras, at least to the X-H2, would just be like a dream come true. Now, I don't know how the specifics works on how engineering these cameras and the software for all these cameras. I'm not real technical with all that, but to me, I definitely think it's a possibility. It kind of makes sense to me. If the GFX 100 can shoot in ProRes RAW and it has the same processor as the X-T4 and the X-T3 does, then technically those cameras can shoot in ProRes RAW. If all these cameras can shoot in ProRes RAW, then I would imagine the next processor that they put in the X-H2 or the future, the next generation Fuji cameras, I think they'll be more than capable of being able to shoot in a format like this. Potentially, hopefully, if they could get that internal, that would be huge, but I would imagine it would be something similar like what Nikon's doing in shooting in BRAW with an external recorder. Even if that's the case, even if that's how Fuji has to do it, it would still be huge, and I would still take it over having to buy a whole nother like cinema camera and get a whole other lens system for that camera. If the X-H2 could shoot video at a cinema camera level, that would be That would be a dream come true. So if this is something that appeals to you and you love this idea just as much as I do, let's make some noise. Definitely like this video, comment on this video, let me know your thoughts on it, and definitely share this video so we can get it out there so that possibly Fuji can see this idea and possibly make our dreams come true. This is definitely something that I need you guys' help with. I doubt Fuji is going to be able to find this video from just a little small YouTuber that's out there. So if this is something that you would definitely like to see, let's make this happen. Share this video, do all the things. Let's get this video out there, and let's hope Fuji can listen to us on this one and make this a reality. That about does it for this one, guys. Just wanted to make something real quick, kind of a little chit chat with you guys on the X-H2. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.